Hi, and welcome to the Virgin River Cafe Rewatch podcast. Good morning, Gigi.
Good morning, Tracy. How's it shaking?
Oh, we're doing pretty good over here. We're enjoying the day. It's been a nice weekend. The
Oh,
weather's
it's been
been good. It's been
yeah,
beautiful. Hot, but we'll
it's
take it.
it's California weather. It's now. I think it officially is starting to move into summer here,
We're getting
and
there.
it's
Yeah, we're getting
yeah, and
there. Yep, it feels like it.
I mean, it's not too hot. It's slowly getting up to the crazy weather, but it's. I think we have a couple more weeks before that happens.
I know
But
it's
I'm
funny.
enjoying.
They always say that like when it's this time of year, we experience
Mhm.
many seasons in a day. So when you wake up in the morning,
Oh
it
yeah.
feels like fall.
I,
Um,
mhm.
by mid morning, it's usually spring. By 2, 3 o'clock, it feels like summer, and then it's going to go back to fall again around 7 o'clock because the weather will go from like 50 degrees to like 100 degrees in the same day. Because that was yesterday. We woke up and it was
Yep.
like 52 degrees, and then it was
Hmm.
87, and then it was 100, and then it went back down to like 60.
Yeah.
I,
That's
I,
pretty
I,
much what here.
it's
Yeah,
bizarro.
and the thing about it is, it in some weird way, even in the wintertime, California tends to do that
Yeah,
up kind of up.
it does.
So it may not be to the extreme of the heat as a thing, but it may
But it
go
could
from
be 30 degrees difference from the time you
three.
wake up to the middle of the day to the
Uh,
time you go to bed.
mm, that's pretty much
And
it.
we're just used to it. And that's why we always say just put a jacket in your car
Well,
because you're probably going
that's
to need it.
I tell people this all the time. I said this is why Californians have multiple layers of clothes in their car,
Hmm.
because you never know what you're going to run in, especially if you're moving from city to city,
Right,
depending on where you are.
right.
Because if you're near the water, or if
Oh, yeah.
like
If you're
me,
near
up,
the water, it's going to be 20 degrees colder. If you're in the
yeah,
desert or inland pretty
yeah,
far, it'll be
yeah.
20 degrees hotter. Bizarre. I mean, who needs
And
seasons? We get them every day. We
I
don't need them throughout the year. It's just not
no.
necessary. It's
What
like
do you think
whiplash.
what do you think we don't have is snow? And I'm thankful for that.
It's rare. We
So,
we get snow every once in a blue moon, but it's a
oh,
rare thing. I don't need it.
we get
I'm
it in the
okay.
mountains,
I'm
which is
okay.
where I the state.
Yeah.
We live
If
in the
I want
mountains.
it, I'm gonna
Have
drive
it.
to it, and I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm gonna
Amen.
drive away from it, and I don't need, and it can stay there.
Amen, sister.
There,
Amen.
there you go.
But I don't. I always tell people I have Caribbean blood. I don't. I don't. It doesn't do snow.
Yeah, I grew up back east, and I left the snow there, and I'm happy to do it. It's fine. It's all good. So, what are we drinking
Anyway,
today, Gigi?
today it's. I have to say, it's pretty simple.
Mm,
It's just a cup of coffee. I didn't want anything fancy. I just needed a cup of coffee to get my day started.
really?
So it's yeah, just black coffee, some milk, and I'm good to go. I didn't feel like I needed to jazz it up or have anything fancy. Just my
God,
my
I,
my
I, I can't.
mocha
I
cup.
just
I
can't do it.
know, I
One,
know.
it's hot, and two, there's no flavor. Like I don't. I can't do that. For me, that'd be like, why bother?
But you see, you
I
for
know.
you, it's about the sensory to
Yes.
enjoy.
Yes.
Me is it for me it's a stimulation, meaning it needs to wake me up.
Oh, I need
It needs
that too. Don't get me wrong. I just want it to taste good going down.
to taste good going down. I just
Mm.
But you have to remember too, you didn't grow up where I mean, coffee drinks didn't become a fancy thing in your life until what, you were in college.
Yeah,
Oh,
college. I found coffee in college. Well,
right.
yeah, in college.
All right, and did they have fancy drinks back then, or just
I
coffee?
used to between classes. There was a little shop next to the.
Hmm.
I was a psychology major. There was a little like stand next to the psychology building, and I used to get
Hmm.
iced coffee. It was like caramelized coffee and French fries.
Okay. All right. So here's the difference. So I grew up in Europe. And so that crap never would work.
Mm-hmm.
You had espressos and lattes and cappuccinos and basic Italian coffee.
Mm-hmm.
There was
No
there was
fancy
no
fancies.
caramel this, no mocha that, none of that. There was none of that. So I grew up with really strong, good Italian coffee.
Okay, so I
And
grew up.
so
I grew up with my dad drinking a cup of coffee, and he would put lots of cream and lots of sugar, and I would take
mm,
sips of it and go, "Something's missing." And I guess I just waited till college to find what was missing. I don't know. Because my dad's a cup of coffee, 2 cups of coffee every morning.
Right.
And I'd always taste it like thinking it was going to be different, and it was the same every day. I'm like, what?
The man had his Folger, and he was good to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Or his Maxwell.
Whatever his flavor of the day was. Yeah.
He was. Exactly.
Basic, generic.
And this is one of the things that always bothered me when I first moved to America, where when I first moved to America and I moved to New York City and I tried the so-called coffee, it was devastating. So I had to find an Italian bistro that served good espresso and cappuccino.
Yeah.
For me to be able to have coffee in the morning, because it was like, oh my God, this is crap. They serving at this.
Well, you grew up with higher standards. What are you going to do? I grew up with, instant.
No, I think the thing is,
I started low. I didn't need a lot of encouragement. Anything out there was going to be better, so it's okay.
I get that. Anyway,
how funny.
What are you having?
I just went with some basic. I have some concentrate, and I add my milk, and I add my water, and I add my flavors. Mm-hmm. It's just the normal. It's kind of plain today. Nothing special.
You and I are doing simple today. Nothing.
Yeah, I just got this really great concentrate that I like, and splash it in there. And if I want it more, stronger or not, I just add more. And just add my special flavor that I made myself. That is pretty yummy. And so I'm having that today. Now we are going out to lunch, and depending on where we go, I might wind up with a Thai coffee or something. I don't know. I'm not sure where we're going. We're going to lunch today. So
I love the Thai coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there might be a Thai coffee in my future, or depending on, because I made this one at home, and sometimes on our way out, especially if we have I think it's an hour drive where we have to go to lunch. I'm like, oh, can we drive through one of our local places? And so sometimes I'll grab one so I can drink it on the way, because there's 17 people going to lunch, so I might need an extra coffee today. I might need that, family and all. So, but yeah. So we're just going to start with this one, and we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, you have fun with that.
Yeah, I know, right? Here we go. It's going to be a day.
It is.
All right. Well, let's get started.
Yep. All right. We are in season 5, episode 7, From the Ashes. Ooh.
Okay. Now this one is the post miscarriage. And because this is rough. She just told him, and now the aftermath. Okay, so it says the devastation brings revelations and reconciliations as the community attempts to rebuild and lift each other up after the fires. Ay. Here we go. And and we're looking at burnt. Things are burnt. There's a lot of, and this is what it looks like. I mean, we just had a bunch of fires last year, and there's a lot of burnt stuff. It's pretty bad. And we have Bree. Bree's driving back. She sees the Virgin River sign, and everybody's coming home now. Because remember, everyone gathered at the bar, at the clinic, at the clearing, kids camp, and they were all there evacuating, and now it's time to go home. And some people are going to have homes, and some people are not. So it's going to be bad. We get to Mel and Jack's place. Now, they had left a window open, and anyone who's been around fires, regardless if your windows are open or not, everything is covered in ash. Even when we don't have fires near us, the wind will carry it, and we will come outside sometimes, and the cars, the ground, everything is covered in a mist of ash.
And also, the smoke never seems to feel like it. The scent of the smoke.
The scent in the air lingers. You're right. Yeah, it lingers for days. Yeah, especially because the wind will carry whatever is still kind of smoldering. So yeah, that'll go for days. Yeah. So Mel and Jack are returning home, and they walk in, and they're just like, oh, I mean, she's already devastated. And she just puts her head down on his shoulder and just kind of ugh. Now, Brady, his place didn't fare as well. He walks in and, his bed is burnt. The walls are burnt. I think he just grabbed a few things and is peace out. I'm not even going to bother. He grabbed a bag full of stuff and he just turned around. And then we've got Preacher, and he's at the bar, and he's just sweeping up. I mean, everybody was there, so we know that the bar did fine. But there's always some cleanup, you know, because even while people were there all day and all afternoon and for 2 days or however long they were there, there's cleanup. And they may not open right away because, you know, people have a lot to deal with, especially if they're dealing with their own homes, you know, all the workers or what have you. So,
and also Preacher dealing with the fact that he found out Kara is married.
yes. Yes, Kaya is calling him. And he's like, hang up, not accepting that call. We're just gonna. Now, remember, Brady has nowhere to go because his place
is vanished.
And he had a really cool place, by the way. Very cool place. He shows up at the bar with his bag in hand, looking at Preacher. And he's like, hey. And Preacher's like, hey. Like, they kind of don't even know what to do with each other. And he walks up to him and kind of deep breath, reaches his hand out to shake his hand. Preacher reaches back. Thank goodness, right? Like, maybe they're going to bury the hatchet finally. I don't know. I mean, I think, you know, Brady did save the bar. So it does give him, it gives him points. And I think because Preacher is such a forgiving person, usually.
But you have to earn Preacher's trust.
I know. And maybe Brady finally did.
Maybe, as much as Brady has done, it's hard for Preacher to forgive him. So the fact that Preacher is going to open the door slightly, you better don't mess up, because
Preacher's pretty vulnerable right now. I mean, Kaya just kind of cracked his heart a little bit, so he's sort of at a low point. I mean,
I think Kaya did more than crack his heart.
We'll see. We will see. We will see. So we've got Denny and Lizzie, and they're just kind of laying in bed on top of the covers, to kind of like, she's turned one way, he's facing up, and kind of like in bed together, but just sort of laying there. I think it's her room. I'm going to guess it's her room because it doesn't look like his room. And she kind of looks back at him, and he kind of leans over her, and then they start kissing. So now they've gotten very close over this. And then we get to Mel and Jack. And Mel's asleep, and how we're looking at them, she's facing us, he's facing us. So he's like spooning her in a way. And she's asleep, and he's kind of like just gently stroking her hair. And he sees that she's holding the dress that she was sewing for the baby. Remember, she was making a dress, and and he picks it up out of her hands, and he's holding it, kind of looking at it like, oh man, kind of getting sad. And then, it would have been their daughters. And then he hears a knock at the door. Like, oh my God, who's here? So he gently gets up. Mel's still sleeping. Gets up.
She's exhausted.
Yeah. He opens the door. It's at night still. And it's Bree. And she's at the door, and she's been crying. So as she drove back, she drove straight to Jack's. And
I assume he probably told her.
Oh, yeah. I guarantee that he told her. Yeah, absolutely. And the first thing she does, she doesn't even say anything. She just grabs him and hugs him as hard as she can. He's crying. They're both crying. Very sad. God. It's very sad.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I cried through this episode, too. There was a lot of crying for a couple of episodes. I'm like, tissues ready. Tissues on hand, please. I mean, God, it's so sad.
It is. It's very sad.
I mean, God, as much as they've been through waiting for this baby that was finally theirs, and then to have it snatched away, it's just, so hard.
This is why I'm pissed at the writers, but I understand you're seeing it as this is a process.
Yes.
I don't like this.
I understand. I know you don't like it, but this is what solidified their relationship. As sucky as it was, as hard as it was, and as much as we didn't want it to happen, they were existing so much in their own griefs that they needed something to solidify their relationship and bring them together. And I get it that no one wanted it, but it just makes the future, because even the circumstances of how that baby happened, it was like, it's like, why did she do that? Why did he do that? Why did they, it's like how we got there it wasn't like the baby was sort of created on a whim, like she was away and she came back and they just kind of like fell into each other just because, and she went to go get the IVF, and it was sort of like yeah, they of course they would love this baby no matter what, but the circumstances around how that baby came to be was just
Well,
it could have been better for them, but I know it sucks. It
I'm,
just sucks.
it,
It sucks
I'm
to put them
sorry.
through it. I get it.
I'm never
But the
gonna be
writers
able
did what they did, and now, now
to.
let's do things in a better way for the future. Let's hope for the best.
Well,
So
we'll see.
we'll see. So we've got a little bit of scenery shot. We have the river, and even it's not even smoky. It's more like overcast and the fog and everything.
Hmm.
Okay, so now we are at like a town hall meeting, and everybody in the town, because now that they've been through this, now that everyone's back home, but now they got to get back to normal. And back to normal might take a minute because they had to use resources in order to put the fire out. And Bert pipes in and he's like, "When's my water going to be turned back on, Hope?" Now, Hope, because they decided, remember, Nick decided that Hope was better to lead this town than him because he clearly didn't know what he was doing. And he said as
Yep.
soon as they could, he would put her back in charge. And here we are at the town hall meeting, and the board is up there with Hope, and she's trying to alleviate everyone's frustrations and explain what's going on. And she's like, we have to get all the essential services up and running, and, as soon as possible. And everybody's talking and yelling and having, they're not listening to each other. They're just all voicing their frustrations.
When it's like this, is usually about me, and not
Right.
realizing that, these things will take time, and
Yeah.
that's hard when you're trying to live your life.
Yeah.
So,
And they're just yelling and everybody's talking over each other, and Muriel whistles really loud and she's like, "Come on, people. Hope helped save the town." Nick is like, "Come on," he goes, "Let's cut her some slack. Like, you can't fix everything in a day." And she's like, "Look, all your concerns are going to be addressed. I promise. Everyone that's been affected by the fire." So then Muriel comes up. She goes, "Also, the town council will be hosting a food and clothing drive here the day after tomorrow. Because there's people they lost things and need things."
yeah.
She goes, "It's going to be at the park, and they're handing out flyers, and please bring whatever you can. Come and help, donate. There's people that lost everything, and they're going to need our help." And so they're trying to kind of refocus the people. Instead of thinking about what you don't have, let's think about the people that don't have anything, that lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
And Hope is like, "We'll get through this difficult time." So now we go back to the cabin. Now Mel's sitting in bed. She's just sitting up in bed. There's a tray of food there that she has not touched. Guaranteed girlfriend is not feeling like eating anytime soon. And she looks like she's been crying for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just sitting there. Jack sort of gingerly walks up to her as she wipes her eyes, like trying to hide it. And he's like, "The food okay?" And she goes, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just not." He goes, "Yeah, me neither." And he's like, "Sweetheart, you've got to eat." And she's like, "I know." She goes, "Did you call Dr. Lorton?" And he's like, "Yeah. She said you could come in tomorrow for a D&C." He goes, "I would have asked what it was, but I figured you'd know." She's like, "It's a recommended procedure after a miscarriage." And now she's actively crying at this point. Like there's tears in her eyes, and there's a couple of them that have fallen, and she's trying to talk to him, but it's like hard. She's like, and how because he doesn't know what a D&C is. And she's like, and she's crying as she's explaining this to him. She's like, "They scrape the uterus to prevent infection." And he like closes his eyes like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you have to go through this." And she's like, and he's like, "Jesus." And she's like, "You don't want to do it?" And she's like, "No, I mean, I should do it." She looks at him. She's like, "It's just that it's really painful." And she goes, "They have to put you under anesthesia, and after everything," she just starts to cry, and she puts her hands over her eyes, and she takes a deep breath and blows it out like, I'm fine. And she's like, "It's okay. It's okay." And he's like, "No, come on." He goes, "What can I do?" He goes, "I think I just need to get up and get out." And she gets out of bed, and she like she's going to look for something to wear. And he goes, "Yeah, it might be good to like see people." And she's like, "What?" Looking at him like, that's not what I meant." She's like, I don't have it in me to tell this story 100 times." And he goes, No. I just meant it'd be good to like be around people who care about you. Joey and Bree are the only ones that know, and they're going to be discreet. And he's like, he walked toward her and he's trying to be soothing. He's rubbing her shoulder and she's looking at him like, I can't. And she's just like, it's just in LA. I got to be so anonymous and out here. And she's like crying. And he's like, hey, he goes, you don't need to worry about anyone but yourself right now. I mean, she's crying so much her lips quivering. And he's like, okay. And he goes, and if you don't have it in you to do that, then I'm going to do that for you. And she just cries and he just holds her. He's like, come here. And he gives her a hug and she just cries some more. Poor thing.
So sad.
I know. And the DNC, yep,
Yeah.
that's painful.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And even with anesthesia, it's painful.
Yes, it is. It absolutely, because the after effect is painful. So, yeah. So she's right. And, you know, if she's had multiple miscarriages, she's been through it more than once.
Yeah, she knows exactly what's going on.
Right. So we're back at Hope and Doc's, and Doc is out on that little back patio that they have.
I love that back patio.
I know. It's so great back there. And Hope's like, Vernon, you have a visitor. And it's Cameron. Because they never dealt with the fact that he basically told Cameron that he's losing his eyesight, but they never really talked about it. I mean, and then he confronted Muriel about it, but she was like, hey, that's not my place. You want to talk about it, go talk to Doc. So,
wrong, as they say.
Yeah, so Hope escorts Cameron out there, and he's like, why don't you two sit and talk? Because she knows there's tension between them. And they have to work together, so they got to figure this out.
Tell me about it. And Cameron has stopped. He had got to be so judgmental.
I know.
That's the other thing. He's butted into Mel's life because he being judgmental of their relationship, and then now
but he liked her. That's why he was in his mind. He was looking out for her, and he's better than Jack, and he doesn't know. Just butting in.
He's an idiot.
So Hope is like, if you need me, I'll be inside trying to figure out how to restart a municipal water supply. They laugh at her. So Cameron sits down and he goes, I would have called instead of just dropping by, but I felt like we might have a lot to discuss before we open the clinic back up tomorrow. And Doc's like, oh, we sure do. And he goes, I came because, I wanted to understand why you just didn't tell me about your eyesight. And Doc kind of takes a deep breath and he's like, I was doing fine. And then that was the first time that it ever affected my work. And as soon as it did, I took myself out of the equation. He goes, I still deserve to know. And he goes, yeah, you did. And I apologize. He goes, I thought I had more time. He goes, in full disclosure, this was one of the reasons that I hired you for this moment. Because if my eyesight worsens, then I'm going to need someone to take over the clinic. And Cameron's like, you want me? He goes, well, that was the plan, yeah. And he goes, in all honesty, after what happened with Mel, I'm having my doubts. And he goes, if I could take back what happened with Mel, I would. And I would love to have her back in whatever way. He goes, I know that's what you both want. He goes, well, it's good to hear. But as far as me taking it over, I think I'm going to need some time to think about that. He goes, think about it? Think about what? He goes, look, I'm flattered and it's a very generous offer. Just one I wasn't expecting. And you deserve to have somebody that is ready to jump right in. He goes, you can't commit? He goes, you know what? If you can't commit, then I have much bigger things to worry about. And you do too. And he goes back inside. So that didn't go very well.
No, it did not.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like he should have told Cameron when he hired him that at some point, maybe not because of this situation. I mean, Doc is 72. He should have maybe prefaced his being hired by saying at some point, I am older. I am going to retire at some time. You would need to be, to kind of put it in the back of his head. And maybe, all of a sudden it is happening now and not 5 years down the road. But don't you feel like he should have put that in as part of why you're here?
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you there. I totally agree with you there.
Because then this conversation would have been, wow, I didn't think it would happen so soon. And, instead of, I don't know if I want that.
I agree.
It's like, so what have we been doing?
Yeah. Because now if Cameron decides to leave, the doc has to do this whole thing all over again, finding a new doctor.
Then it's a problem.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. So we're at the bakery truck and Bree's getting some coffee and some other yummy things. And Brady shows up. She hadn't seen him in a minute.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, I didn't know you were back in town." She goes, "Yeah, I got in yesterday." And he's like, "I was worried about you." And she shakes her head no. She goes, "I was worried about you too." Which, now, for people who look at body language, that it's like she's saying one thing, but her body is saying something else. So she's shaking her head no, but she's saying that she was worried about him. So was she really worried about him? I think subconsciously she wasn't, but I think she's telling herself she was because she's still pissed at him.
Yeah, those two have
I know. So she gives him, they hug each other. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I know she cares about him and she's worried about him, but she's conflicted. That's the problem. She's so conflicted.
Because you have to remember, and the one thing about these Sheridans are their loyalty to the right thing is very prominent in all of them.
Loyal to the core. Yeah.
Right. And following the rules and doing what is right has always been something that has been instilled in them, even if the idiot who instilled in them, their father, is the moron. Thing.
Yeah.
They have always been, it's the right way or the wrong way. And they never pick the wrong way. Yeah. If they can help.
And so, she's a lawyer, so by definition, she's going to do the right thing.
Right. And she's not a sleazy lawyer.
No. She's a good person.
Exactly. And so for her, as much as the attraction is there, and it is there, and
the chemistry is always going to be there. We just keep finding out about their chemistry. Yes, absolutely. But she hates liars, and she can't stand it when people are dishonest with her. She's like, you know what? If he would have said, "I've done all," and come right to her in the very beginning, even if he did all this bad stuff, she may have been okay with it because he was honest. But because he lied about it and he hid it, that might just be more than their relationship can handle. Yeah. If there's even any relationship left. Like, it's on a thread right now. They didn't officially break up, but, I mean, she didn't flat out in his face say it's over, but it's looking bad.
It's frazzling as we speak.
Yeah, it's fizzling out with the fire. So they give each other, like, a very big hug, like embrace, holding each other with eyes closed tight, kind of a hug, because they kind of still need that connection. Even if she's pissed, she still needs the connection. And she's like, "I'm so sorry about your I'm so sorry about your cabin and Emerald Lumber," because apparently both of them burnt down. Not like Melissa Montgomery was worried about it.
No, she wasn't. She only wanted to make sure her goods were intact.
Oh, yeah. So they're just sitting at one of the benches, just drinking their coffee, trying to talk. And he's like, "Yeah, preacher's letting me stay above the bar." So, she's like, "As he should." She goes, "Jack filled me in." She's like, "There would be no bar without you. You're a legit hero." He's like, "Yeah, I don't know about that." He goes, "I just did what anyone in my position would do." And he's like, "I mean, I don't know, just anyone would use a flamethrower, set a backfire." She goes, "It's pretty badass." He goes, "Not as badass as standing up for yourself in court." And she's like, yeah. So he reaches over and he pulls the chain that she's wearing around her neck, and it's his dog tags. And he's like, "I wish I could have been there for you." And she's like, "But you weren't." He goes, "You told me not to come." And she's like, "Because I can't trust you. So I didn't feel safe with you." She goes, "And I need that right now. After everything, I need to feel safe." He goes, "I wish you could understand that." And he's like, "I am doing everything I can, I swear, to get out of this situation." She goes, "What are you doing? Tell me." And he's like, "I can't." And he's trying to protect her. She goes, "And therein lies the problem." So she grabs her coffee and she stands up and she starts to walk away. And he's like, "Bree." And he goes, "If you can't talk to me, just tell me you'll find someone you can talk to." And she shakes her head yes, and she walks away. And you know who that's going to be.
Oh, yeah. Mikey boy.
Mike has just been right there. And he's like, they are like opposites. It's like if there was good and bad, Yep. So as she walks away, He gets a
Think of
phone.
the devil.
He gets a text message, and it's from Melissa Montgomery. Meet me at 3 p.m., corner of Newmarket and Highland. So, she wants to get things up and running again. And because they no longer have Emerald Lumber that they can run stuff through, she already started a new plan. She already had an idea that she was working. So he's like, great. And he can't tell her because he's afraid if she gets mixed up in it, she's going to want to help. And then she's going to get, I don't know what could happen, but she could get in trouble. She could get something. And he just wants to protect her. So he's trying to keep her away from this as much as possible. Understanding that by keeping her out of it, he's keeping her in the dark. And that's what she sees as lying to her. And that's going to keep them separate. So.
Well, it's basically he's seeing her slip away from him, which is what he doesn't want. But he prefers her slipping away from him.
He wants her safe rather than in danger.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's a hard choice, but it's probably the best one.
Yep.
Because Bree, she'd be right in the middle of it.
Oh, unfortunately, yes.
So we're back at Doc and Hope's, and Lizzie is in the living room, and she's tapping away at her laptop, and Denny walks in. He's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Hope has me making a list of everyone's needs so we can make sure everything is donated at the drive goes to the right people." And he's like, "Well, sounds like she thinks of you as more than just her aide." And Lizzie smiles, kind of like, "Yeah, you think so? Of course, because she's been doing more than just aid things, schedules. And I mean, ever since she helped coordinate the food drive for the firefighters, it's like she's really stepping up. I mean, Lizzie's really like finding her own. Yeah. So he goes, "So, I've been meaning to ask, are you still thinking about going to college this fall?" And she's like, "No." She's like, "I haven't told my mom yet, but in my gut, college isn't right for me." She goes, "Plus, I love it here." She goes, "Wait, why? Are you going back to Stanford?" And he's like, "After everything that happened yesterday?" He's like, "I know what's most important to me." And he holds her hand and he goes, "And that's you. So I want to be wherever you are." Little kiss, kiss.
Oh, boy.
"I should probably get a job, though. I can only mountain climb so many times a week." She's like, "Any ideas?" He goes, "Well, if I could get paid to stare at you all day, that'd be great." And she goes, "Oh, God, I've created a monster." He goes, "Yes, you have." More kiss, kiss. So we are back at the cabin, and Mel is just sort of standing there in the kitchen, dunking a tea bag, just looking melancholy. And Jack's like, "Are you sure you don't want me to stay?" And she's like, "No, I'm okay." He goes, "You need to deal with the bar." She goes, "Plus Bree offered to bring me muffins. I think I'm feeling ready for muffins." So he walks over to her. This is a really cute scene. He goes, "Oh, and Hope called. She said there's going to be a food drive and a clothing drive in a few days." And she goes, "We don't have to." And she goes, "No, it's okay. I'll look around and see if we have anything to donate." And so he touches her hair and he's like, "If you need me," she goes, "I promise I'll call." And he gives her a kiss. And then he goes to walk away and she goes, "Hey, Jack, do you need anyone to talk to? I'm fine if you want to tell Preacher." He goes, "Don't worry about me. I mean it. Not today, okay?" And he comes back and he touches her hair and gives her another kiss. He goes, "Not for 1 second." And he kind of breaks the kiss for a second, says, "I love you," and gives her another kiss. He's going to go deal with the bar and she's going to stay home.
And eat muffins.
So now we're at Preacher's house.
Yeah.
And there's a knock at the door, and it's Kaya. Now, she may not know that he knows that she has a husband, but she's going to find out. If she didn't know, she's going to find out real quick. Because she's probably wondering, okay, I thought we were doing great. I thought we were getting along fine. I thought we had chemistry. I thought we had sparks, and now you're ghosting me? What's going on? I realize you were trying to save your bar and there's a lot going on, but still.
Yeah, this girl's about to find out. Not to say.
So he's like, "Hey." And she's like, "Hey." And he's like, "You done work already?" She's like, "Yeah." She goes, "Fire in the air is mostly contained. Things are clearing up." And he's like, kind of nudges her to come in. She's looking at him like, okay, he's acting really weird. So she comes in, she shuts the door, they walk through the kitchen. She's like, what's unclear is why you're not returning my calls."
Ooh, girlfriend.
He's like, "Or talking to me right now." And he just pours himself a glass of water. And he goes, "Maybe because you're married?" And the look on her face is like,
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, a guy from your brigade told me. The better question is, why didn't you?" She goes, because it's over. Jay and I are separated. We were going to start mediation, but then fire season took over. He goes, well, if that's the case, why keep it a secret? She goes, because I didn't want to complicate things. He goes, yeah, well, I think we're past that right now. She goes, okay, I'll go. Just keep this easy. Ooh, she's throwing it back at him. He goes, you know, this isn't easy, Kaya. He goes, I've got real feelings for you. And she's like, I have them for you too. She kind of has a little smirk on her face. Hang on. Because she's looking at him with those eyes.
Oh, yeah.
She goes, after my marriage ended, I was determined not to get emotionally involved with anyone. But, he goes, but I met you. He just doesn't know what to do with it. He goes, he goes, I just need some time. She's like, yeah. She kind of like, okay. And she just turns around and looks at him and walks out. Oh, my. So we're back at the cabin. And Mel is sitting on those cute little chairs that they have on the front porch with Bree. And she's like, how are you doing? She goes, and Bree's like, we don't have to go there if you don't want to, but I'm here if you do. Because remember, not that long ago, Bree had a miscarriage.
That's right.
So now that was Bree's first. This is maybe Mel's, I don't know how many.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how many, but I'm not going to say because we're not there yet. But, you know, Bree's been through it, and it is very different circumstances, but
yeah,
you know, and she's like, Mel is like, I don't know, she shrugs her shoulders. She's, I'm getting through it. She goes, I want to hear about you. Jack said that the trial went really rough. And she goes, yeah, it was hard. She goes, but Mike was there and he was really great. And Mel's like, wait, so back up. So you asked Brady not to come, but then you had Mike come instead? It's like, oh, thank God they can dish. She goes, no. Mike was there purely by coincidence. She goes, but I'm really glad he was. He goes, wait, what's going on with you and Brady? She's like, we're not in a good place. She goes, oh, honey, I'm sorry. I had no idea. She goes, yeah, you've been through a lot. She goes, what happened? She goes, he just won't be honest with me. It's like he feels like he has to hide the truth or I won't love him. She goes, yeah, and I just can't handle that kind of uncertainty in my life right now. And I'm afraid he won't change. A very expensive therapist once told me the first thing you fight about will always be the same thing you fight about. And Mel, her eyebrows go up very high, and she's like, oh, God, I hope that's not true. And she starts to laugh. And Bree's like, why? And she starts to laugh. And she goes, what was your first fight about? She goes, Charmaine. She goes, oh, yeah, that tracks. They both laugh. She goes, yeah, but see, maybe that's proof that you guys can move past this. He goes, if you still want him in your life at all. She goes, yeah, I hope you're right. I really have always admired the way that you and Jack just find your way through whatever life throws at you. And what you're willing to go through now, it's no different. She's like, thank you. Just two friends, BFFs, in real life and on the show. It's so great. So we are at the clinic, and Muriel is pouring herself a cup of coffee. Oh, she has her attire today is lovely. She's got a light blue sweatshirt with a cat on it in some pastel colors. It's lovely. So Cameron walks in, and he's like, wow, what are you wearing? She has like a jean skirt. I think it's Lizzie's clothes. She goes, it is inappropriate to comment on a lady's appearance. He goes, oh, no, I'm not commenting. I am questioning all of it. And they both start laughing. She goes, well, this little fashionista is a combo of Connie and Lizzie's hand-me-downs. He goes, what is left of my very smoky wardrobe is now at the dry cleaners. I'm so sorry about your house. And she's like, thank you. He goes, yeah, well, I'm okay. That's all that matters. He goes, I'm actually living with Connie right now because sadly her general store burnt down. Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, sorry.
She's like, and I figured, misery loves company. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, God. The two opposite ends.
Right?
One who's fancy, free, and loose, and the other one who's a stick in the mud. Oh, my God. That must be one hell of a roommate situation.
Oh, my gosh. So funny.
I'm sorry.
Well, and she's not happy at Connie's, but whatever. He goes, but if I'm being completely honest, it is the company that is miserable. He's like, well, why is that? He goes, there's just so many rules. I poured my morning smoothie in a cup designated for water. And all hell broke loose. And he's like, okay, Cameron, inserting yourself where maybe you do not belong. He goes, I do have a guest room that you could use. He goes, you'd make your own rules. She's like, thank you. Well, I don't want to, I don't want to impose. He goes, oh no, I'd love to have you. She's like, oh. He goes, hey, just so I'm prepared. Did you talk to Doc yet about after that whole falling out thing? And he's like, yeah, we did. Actually, I think we're better. He's giving me a lot to think about. She's like, good. He's like, thank you, as she gives him a cup of coffee. So now she's like, oh, maybe I'll stay with Cameron.
Mm-hmm. No.
So we're back at Hope's, and she's like, oh, thanks for the extra blankets. It's like, you're welcome at the clinic as long as you need. So, because Ava is visiting Hope, and she's bringing some blankets because they have to donate things, and I don't know where I think she's getting the blankets. She brought the baby with her, and she goes, have you and Tara decided what you're going to do? And she's like, with the scorched piece of earth formerly known as our farm? And she's like, stop. She goes, it is, though. There's nothing left. She's like, and yeah, we have Tara. She goes, yeah, we have. Tara got offered a great job back in San Francisco. And yeah, she wasn't going to take it, but now that the farm is gone, she doesn't really have a reason to stay. She's going to come back and pick up Chloe today. She's like, really? Hope can't even believe it. She was like, I'm going to miss you too. She goes, I was only supposed to be here for a week. She goes, I have to get back to my place in Portland. She goes, so we're planning to sell. And Hope's like, I was really hoping you weren't going to say that. She goes, is there another way? And she goes, well, believe it or not, we already got a call for someone interested in the land, a company called High Front. She's like, the developer. She goes, yeah, they've been trying for years to get into Virgin River. Could you hold off on them for a bit? Hope is hoping that maybe she can find a different way. So she's asking, please, I'd like to try to help you find another buyer.
Yeah.
Someone who would keep the integrity of the original farm, rebuild it like it was, and give it a second chance. And Ava says, I would love that. I know my mom would love that. She goes, but who do you think would be interested? Hope's like, I have no idea, but that never stopped me before.
Mm-hmm. And when that woman's got an idea, she's like a dog with a bone.
I know. So we're back at the bar. Looks like a full crowd. Preacher serving some meals. He goes, there you go. Enjoy. Jack's in the office. And Preacher peeks in. He goes, hey. He goes, so Brady's settled upstairs. And Jack's like, yeah, I know. He goes, and I know what you're thinking, but it's temporary. He goes, I feel for the guy, right? Losing his cabin and everything. But you really think it's a good idea to have him move back in? And Jack's like, I promised Bree that I would give it a chance. And besides, we might not even have a bar if it wasn't for him. So maybe a leopard can change his spots. He goes, well, what more are you willing to do? He goes, maybe a leopard can change his spots. He goes, Preacher's like, well, what more are you willing to lose to find that out? And that's when Jack kind of looks at him with his sad face. And Preacher's like, you okay? And he goes, yeah, we lost the baby. And Preacher's like, no, man. Oh, no. Are you okay? And he goes, honestly, I don't know. He goes, but whatever I'm feeling, Mel's got to be feeling it 10 times over. I mean, her going through this after everything she's been through. He goes, I'm so sorry, man. He goes, just trying to support her. Don't make this about me. He goes, this happened to both of you, Jack. And then Jack starts to cry. And he's like, it's funny. I didn't even know I wanted this, to be a father. But, you picture it.
Yeah.
Father-daughter dance, little league games, school plays. You see their little eyes looking at you, and I know. He goes, oh, Preach, it's really hard to say goodbye to someone that you never met. And Preacher's like, she existed for you. And he goes, yeah, she did. And he starts to cry. He goes, I even came up with names, He goes, it's just so unfair. He goes, I mean, with Charmaine, when she took the twins away from me, at least I had someone I could be angry with, I could blame someone. But this? He goes, you two will have a family one day. You focus on that. And he's like, yeah. Aw, so sad.
Yes, it's so sad.
And you know what? I also, another thing this show does that a lot of shows don't do, they don't focus on how the men feel about things.
Yeah.
But this show does. A lot of shows, you just see the women experience sadness or heartache or whatever. And, generally the guys are just like, oh, they're just going to be a guy, and just deal with it. But this show, I mean, almost every guy is going through stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack, how many times have we seen this poor man cry? Like, you generally don't have men in shows cry, and feel their feelings.
Yeah.
So I applaud them for doing things different than so many other shows do.
I agree. I agree.
So we're back at the cabin, and remember, there's going to be a food and clothing drive. So Mel is going through stuff to see if she has anything to donate. And so she's just kind of looking through things in this chest at the bottom of the bed. And she stops on one item, and it's the dress that she was making for the baby. She never finished it. She didn't get to put the little bird. She never sewed the little bird on there. And she just looks at it, and she kind of starts to cry. Takes a deep breath. Like, I'm going to get through this.
Yep.
And then she grabs her phone. She wipes her tears. She calls her sister. She goes, and Joey's like, hey, how are you? Mel says, I thought holding up in the cabin was going to help, but she goes, well, it is a little, but it's a little too quiet here. I knew I should have come up there yesterday, Joey's telling her. She goes, Nate said he could watch the kids and I could get on the road. She goes, no. Joe, it's okay. I don't know how to say this without hurting your feelings. I just don't want you here right now. And she goes, okay. You get a pass. She's like, why not? And she's like, because I'm afraid if I see you, I won't be able to hold it together. Good reason. I agree. That's a good reason. She goes, you don't have to. She goes, sweetie, I get it. I do. You can't hide from your pain forever. I mean, grief comes in waves. You know that. She goes, I know I do, but I can't let myself go there again. I won't do it. I know where it leads. Because the last time when she lost the baby, like she went through the whole pregnancy and then lost the baby, she had told Jack that she went to a very, very dark place.
Yep.
And almost couldn't get herself out of it. And at that point, that's when her marriage broke down. And then her husband died. And then she moved to Virginia. So she was just she just can't let it get that bad again. But she's in a different place with different people. So the likelihood that would happen and no one would let her get there is so, like, that's 100%. But she just knows herself that if she lets herself start to go down that path, she could go down too far and not be able to pull herself out of it. So she's like, this time it's going to be different. And she knows because of where she is and who she's around. And even Joey knows it. She's like, no one's going to let you go where you've been before, Mel.
Yeah, it's a different community. There's no one in that town that would not stand by her.
Yeah, and like she said before, in LA, she was anonymous. She could be sad and no one cared. Whereas here, if nobody saw her for 2 days, there'd be people knocking on her door going, hey, Mel, are you okay? What's going on? What's happening?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And nobody knows yet. So when they do find out, I mean, the community will come out for her. Right now, it's just Bree and Joey, but that's just for right this minute.
Yeah.
And Joey reminds her, she goes, you have so many people who love you.
Yeah.
She goes,
true.
honey, I promise we will all be there to catch you. And she's like, yeah. So at least she's got the support of her sister. Even if she doesn't want her there, she can call her and talk to her. So that's good. So now we've got Brady, and he's sitting on his motorcycle waiting for Melissa. What's this about? So he goes over to the driver's side door, and it's the guy, and he's like, get in. He doesn't even talk to him. So he gets in the back. Melissa's there, and he kind of takes a deep breath like, I don't really want to do this. And she's like, I am so glad your pretty face made it out unscathed. And he's just like, ugh. He goes, and why is that? She goes, we're going into the glamping business with Bree's brother, Jack. And he's like, you're going to move drugs through Jack's glamping business? She's like, no, I'm going to move money through it. And I need you to manage the day-to-day so Jack doesn't stick his nose where it doesn't belong. And he's like, I don't work for Jack. He goes, I'll take care of it. And he's like, what about the drugs? Where are they? How are we moving them? She goes, you do as you're told, and then we'll talk. He's like, yeah, whatever. And he gets out, and they drive away. It's like, great. So he gets his phone, and he had recorded that entire conversation. Because his job is to get evidence for Mike so they can take her down. So it's nighttime. And Mel gets a knock at the door, and she's like, hi, oh my gosh, come in. And it's Tara and Chloe. And she's like, do you want to come in and sit down? And Tara's like, we can't stay. She goes, oh, yeah. She goes, Ava told me that you guys were leaving town. She's like, yeah, you got a job offer? And she goes, yeah, we're driving up tonight. She goes, tonight? She goes, yeah, they wanted me to start right away. And Mel's like, oh, okay. And Tara's like, goodbye, farm life, and hello, city life. Mel laughs like Green Acres. And Mel's like, I fully support your reverse Green Acres thing, especially now. And that's for dates people that have never seen Green Acres.
Exactly.
I mean, you have to look it up. It's like a very wealthy woman. I think it was Zsa Zsa Gabor or her sister,
Yep.
Ava Gabor.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's very rich and wealthy from the city in New York, and everything was high life. And her husband decided they should live on a farm, and her in the farm with her city
This is
life attitude is hilarious. And it's
this
probably
is
what, 50s or 60s
yeah.
that came out.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's in the 60s.
So funny. I mean,
It's hysterical.
I don't think people would get it now today, but it was hilarious back then. But anyway.
Oh, please. She with that accent and darling.
Yeah, I know, it's funny. So now Tara has to say goodbye because she's leaving. She goes, life takes some real unexpected turns, doesn't it? Mel kind of shakes her head. And they're both tearing up. And she goes, Mel, I don't know how to thank you. She's like, for what you did for Chloe and Ava. And she's like, oh, I was just in the right place at the right time. The both of them are crying. She goes, no, you ran into a burning house and saved them. She goes, I'm from Virgin River. I know kindness. And you're something special. She goes, I'm going to miss you. She goes, I'm going to miss you too. And they give each other big hugs. And Chloe starts making noises. She goes, and I fully expect your first 2 words to be Auntie Mel, as she grabs her little toes. She goes, okay.
She was named after.
Yeah. She goes, bye,
Never
sweet
came.
girl. Don't grow up too
Yeah.
fast, okay? They're both crying. She goes, okay, now go before I won't let you.
Yeah. Because now that I think of it, she's the reason why Chloe has the name Chloe.
Yes, Mel's sister who passed away
Mel was
before
the
she
one.
was born, she named her, yes.
She gave
And
her that name.
yep, she gave her that name so they didn't keep calling her baby. And then Lily decided to keep the name if that was okay with Mel, because she said, when she grows up, they'll be able to tell her that the kind nurse who took care of her when her mom was having trouble helped give her name.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, this was the last time Tara was on the show for a long time, until there was a few other instances where she came back. But she wasn't a regular cast member for a while. And so their tears were probably real because she was leaving.
Yeah.
And so off they go to start their new life in San Francisco, which isn't that far away. So we have Jack, and he's at the cabin, and he's looking out the window in the kitchen, just kind of in deep thought. And his phone rings, and so he grabs it. Mel's still sleeping, and it's actually an alarm. And he very quietly walks over to Mel, kneels down by the side of the bed, gently touches her, and he's like, Mel? He's like, it's time. She opens her eyes.
Oh, God.
And so she rolls over, and they hold hands, and she's like, okay. And he kisses her hand, and they have to head to Dr. Lorton's office because she has to get her DNC. So they're in the parking lot. They pull in. As they're pulling in, they see a couple coming out of the doctor's office. Oh, it's a husband and wife, man and woman, and she's very, very pregnant. And so they pull in. They have like a front parking space, and they're just sitting in the truck. He stops the car. He turns it off. He goes to get out, and she's like, wait. And he's like, what? And she's like, we're a little early. Can we just sit here for a minute? And he's like, of course. And he's like, come here. And she slides over to him. He puts his arm around her. And she's like, the last time I had to have a DNC, so she's had more than one. She's like, before I made it to term with the baby I had lost. She goes, in the waiting room, it's the worst. She's like, there's like 10 pregnant mothers in there, just, happy and healthy.
Yep.
Waiting to check on their babies. And then there's me. Just sitting there. And he just doesn't even know what to say. She goes, knowing that mine's gone. She goes, and nothing makes sense. She starts to cry. She goes, except for the fact that I let myself down again. And then she really starts to cry. And he's like, no, no, like she's blaming herself. And she's like, I'm sorry. He goes, I'm not going to let you beat yourself up about this for something you had no control over. You hear me? He goes, you did nothing wrong. All right? Not a damn thing. I mean, she doesn't feel that way, but, he could tell her that 1,000 times and she's going to feel like it was her fault.
Yeah, that's the thing about your body. Sometimes you don't, you're not in control for
Yeah,
things like
I
that.
know, but she doesn't. And I mean,
Yeah, well,
she doesn't feel
yeah,
that way. She feels like it's her
yeah,
body, it's her fault. You
yeah.
know? I mean, trust me, I've been there where you sit in the
I
doctor's
know.
office and everybody's pregnant around you, and either you can't get pregnant or you just lost your baby. And it's the
Yeah.
worst. The doctor's office was always the worst place to be. I mean, I went through 5 years of infertility, and I hated sitting in the doctor's office. In fact, I would show up late just so I wouldn't have to. Or I'd wait outside the office and say, I'll be in the hallway. Call me when it's my turn. Because you don't want to sit in there with all these people that are pregnant. They probably stand next to their husbands and get pregnant, and we did everything possible and it wouldn't happen. So, it's not a fun place to be. So I totally get where she's coming from.
Yeah.
So now we are listening to the recording that Brady made when he was with Melissa Montgomery, and he's playing it. And it's like, he's playing it for Mike, and Mike is like, "Oh, she's using Jack as a pawn," and Brady's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Great," because they're friends with Jack. And like, "Oh my God," he goes, "This makes sense now." And Mike shows Brady the pictures. Remember, just a few short
Right,
days, weeks ago,
exactly. We saw someone taking photos of her.
right? It was Melissa who joined the dinner that
Mm.
Nick and Joellen had, that invited Mel and Jack to celebrate their engagement. That's when they found out that they were pregnant. It was a double celebration. And he's like, "Oh, my sister's in town for one more day. I'd love for you to meet her, blah, blah, blah." And Mike was the one, we saw someone taking pictures. Mike was the one taking pictures. And he
Mhm.
didn't know what that meant. But
Right.
now it all makes sense. Melissa was trying
Oh.
to insert herself into the situation.
Because remember, one of the things that way back when Calvin was in charge, he always said that the one place they couldn't infiltrate was Virgin River, because they were, the sheriff and everybody there were
They couldn't be
not going
bought.
to,
Yep.
right, it couldn't be bought.
So they
So now,
tried every way possible.
exactly,
And now
exactly.
they seem like, with Emerald Lumber, they're trying to get
Mhm.
themselves in, and now they think, okay, with, Jack's glamping business, that's they're in. And so when Brady says to Mike, "Why didn't you show me these earlier?" And Mike's like, "I was hoping they were just having dinner and nothing more." He goes, "Jack has no idea what she's capable of." And Brady's like, "We need to tell him." And Mike's like, he goes, "We can't. We got one shot at taking her down. We can't do anything to risk that. He could go down with her." Brady's like trying to like stick up for Jack. Like, come on, don't put him in this situation. And
Mhm.
he's like, Mike's like, "I'm not going to let this happen." And Brady's like, or he could get hurt. So could Mel. And Brady's like, he goes, "You need to arrest her now." He goes, "Look, we got everything we need." He goes, "No, what we got is vague and circumstantial." He's
Mhm.
trying to tell Brady, "We need more." He goes, "What if I testify?" He goes, "You're a convicted criminal. Testifying would only be part of the deal." He goes, "We need proof, undeniable proof, that the
Yep.
money that she's moving through the glamping site is drug money." He goes, "I think we should have you wear a wire." He goes, "Yeah? Okay. Whatever it takes. But I need this to end now. If something happens to Jack, it'll destroy Bree. And I can't let that happen." He goes, "Okay, Mike, I won't." He goes, "I won't either." So they're going to work together. So now we're sitting down planning. So we have Hope and Lizzie and Joellen and Liddy and Connie. And she's like, "I love the idea of a raffle, Lizzie. That's great." He goes, "Now we need some folks to donate prizes." And Connie's like, "I can ask Bert. He'll donate a free tune-up, and Preacher might do cooking classes, and Charlie might do flying lessons, and oh, you're going to have to convince him, Hope." That's what Connie says because she knows they're buddies. He goes, "Now find someone to buy Lily's farmland. Someone who cares about keeping the integrity of the Virgin River community intact." And they're like, "Well," Joellen's like, "It's a nice idea, Hope, but I don't know." He goes, "And Nick investing in Jack's glamping business?" She's like, "We're tapped out." She's like, "Okay." And Hope looks at Lizzie, and Lizzie's like, "I hope you're not looking at me." She goes, "My mom gets mad when I buy a pair of shoes. Can you imagine if I bought a farm?" And they all laugh. She goes, plus, once I tell her I'm not going to college, she's going to cut me off anyway. And Hope's like, I didn't know you made that decision. She goes, I have, but I haven't felt strong enough to call my mom. And Connie's like, after all you went through in the fire? She's like, sweetheart, I can tell you're incredibly strong. She goes, coming from you, that means a lot. She goes, maybe your strength is wearing off. She goes, and your strength. And she kind of looks at each of the ladies. She goes, putting this together for people who lost so much. She goes, when you've lost so much too. She goes, you guys really inspire me. She goes, you inspire us. Call your mom. We'll help you figure out the rest. If anyone can stitch this town back together, it's us. Because Liddy's very confident. And so they all cheers with their tea. So Bree's at home, and there's a knock at her door, and she opens it, and she's like, hey, what are you doing here? And it's Mike. And he's like, hey.
Mike,
He's like, I was just thinking about you. And she's like, uh-huh. She goes, wondering if we could talk. She goes, I don't know if it's a good time. She goes, yeah, of course. Come on in. He's like, thinking about me, huh? So she grabs 2 beers, and he sits down at the bar, and she's like, so the jury returned a verdict today. She's like, guilty on all counts. And he's like, he's like, that's great. She goes, yeah, it is. He goes, how are you feeling about it? She goes, not as good as I'd hoped. I mean, I knew a guilty verdict wouldn't, erase the trauma, but I thought it might put me at ease a little. And he's like, well, I'm no expert, but I think what you're feeling is completely normal. And she's like, I know. She's like, I just know how rare it is for prosecution to be successful in these kind of cases, and I'm really grateful to them. She goes, and I'm so relieved Don cannot do this to another woman anytime soon. She's like, I don't know. I just keep waiting to feel like this is all finally behind me. He goes, well, maybe, maybe it'll take more time. But hey, whatever you need along the way, I just want you to know that I'm here for you. And she's like, thanks. And they both kind of chuckle. And Bree's like, so, what did you want to talk to me about? As she sits down next to him, next to the bar. He's like, okay. I just wanted to say that I'm sorry. If I did anything to cross a line in Sacramento, she goes, no, you didn't. He goes, hey, you're going through a lot with the trial and Brady, and I'm not trying to get in the way of all that. And he's like, Bree, he goes, I care about you, and I only want what's best for you. She goes, I know, I want that too. She goes, that's why I think what almost happened. And he's like, but it didn't, and I'm glad that we're friends. She goes, actually, I'm more than glad. I'm thrilled. And she's like, I am too. And he's like, great. And I'm like, great. And they cheers their beers. So now they're friends. Isn't that nice? Goodness. So now we're back at the cabin. It's nighttime. And Mel and Jack are curled up together on the couch. And he's like, are you okay? He's like, you still cramping? And she's like, yeah, a little, but it's getting better. And he's like, do you want to know something? She's like, He's like, I'm astounded by your bravery. She's like, thanks. He goes, I'm not any braver than anyone else in this town, though. People have lost so much. He goes, maybe it would be good for us to tell people. More people to lean on that understand what we're going through. He's like, if you're sure. She kind of shakes her head, yes. He's like, why don't we get Hope to use the phone tree? Spread the word. She shakes her head. She goes, we don't have to keep retelling the story. She's like, oh, that's really a good idea. And they just kind of cuddle together.
Yeah, because that phone tree is like literally like a fire.
Oh, that's better than a group email, So it's morning, and we're now at the, remember they were having the drive, the food drive, and the clothing drive for anybody that needed anything. And the bakery truck is there, of course. Because the bakery truck is everywhere. I love that bakery truck.
I know about to say that. I love that bakery truck. It may not be there anymore, but
it doesn't matter. Now Connie doesn't have the store, so she could do the bakery truck full time. Because remember, the general store burnt down, and they've never mentioned if it's going to be rebuilt or not, so who knows?
Yeah.
So everybody's bringing things, and Lizzie's there, and Denny shows up. And she goes, hey, can I buy her some raffle tickets? And she's like, how did the job search go? And he goes, well, I filled in an application at Bert's Auto Shop. Interesting. And the pedal boat rental. I mean, there's not a lot going on in Virgin River, so,
He may need to expand his
I know.
resume.
He goes, and the dietary supplement company, something called referral marketing, as Hope walks up. And she's like, yeah, don't do that one. And Lizzie's like, I have some news. I called my mom and I told her my decision. And Denny's like, that's amazing. How do you feel? She's like, strong and broke. And Hope is like, Lizzie, you've really proven that you're more than just my aide. She goes, right. I'm also your chauffeur and your chef. And then they laugh. She goes, community work definitely suits you. So why don't we make it official? And she looks at her like, what are you talking about? She goes, would you like to be the chief of staff to the mayor of Virgin River? And Lizzie's looking at Denny like, what? He goes, pays more than you're making now, and there's a real future in it if you want. And Lizzie's like, wow. She goes, yes, thank you. She goes, oh, don't thank me. We got a lot of work to do before the Labor Day Carnival. She goes, the town's still doing that? She goes, not without your help or not. So she looks at Denny, and they're both smiling. They're so excited. And Connie and Muriel are sorting clothes, and Connie's like, I know, I was cranky. She goes, I just didn't expect you to take so long blow drying your hair this morning. She goes, and Joellen walks up, and she goes, well, it was only 20 minutes. So Joellen hands in some things, and she goes, if you had told me that your blow dryer neither blows nor dries, then maybe. She goes, I just think we need to find a better schedule. Muriel's like, or how about I buy you a new blow dryer? Connie's like, oh. She goes, as a little, thank you for your generosity. And they start laughing. She's like, great. She goes, oh, and when you're out shopping, she goes, maybe see if you can find a new perfume. I think I'm allergic to your present fragrance. And just as they're talking, Cameron walks up with some things he's donating, and he overhears this part of the conversation. And then Connie walks away. And Cameron looks at Muriel, and Muriel looks at Cameron, and they kind of both start laughing. She goes, if that offer to stay at your place still stands, do you? And he's like, you can move in tonight. She's like, thank you. So that's settled. Oh, my gosh.
God. You and I both know that was a bad mistake from the time they started that.
But probably at that moment, she probably didn't have any choice. And she needed a place to stay. So, I mean, what else was she going to do? You got to ask your friends. Whoever says yes first, that's where you got to go.
Mm-hmm.
So Doc is sorting things and helping, and he hands some things to some people. And Cameron walks up to Doc, and he was like, hey, Doc, do you have a sec? He's like, yeah. So they walk over by the river, and he says to Cameron, did you make up your mind? And Cameron's like, first, I wanted to explain why I needed to think about it. He's like, when I left my fiance, I wanted to get as far away from San Diego as I could. Hide out in a different life entirely. I didn't plan on being here long term. I thought I'd miss the city and the pace, the hospital, and innovation. And Doc's like, hey, with all due respect, I don't need to hear your life story. Just, tell me what's going on. And he goes, I'm not. He goes, because as it turns out, I don't miss any of it. I may not be great at it yet, but being a small town doctor and working closely with you and the patients, he goes, it's been more fulfilling than I could have ever imagined. And Doc's liking what he's saying. He goes, so yes, I would love to be considered. And Doc's like, thank you, Dr. Hayek. He goes, and in the meantime, I'm here to support you, whatever you need. He goes, well, he shakes his hand. He goes, let's give it a try. So that's good. So Mel and Jack arrive at this donation center thing. And he's got a box of stuff that they're going to donate. And he reaches out to grab Mel's hand so they can walk up together. And Hope is like, hi, everybody. I'm just going to say a couple of words. So everybody gathers around. Thank you all so much for being here. She goes, we have suffered tremendous loss. But when I look at all your faces, loss is not what I see. I see people who've opened their homes to neighbors in need. I see boxes brimming with clothes and food. And it warms my heart. And as do the faces of the brave members of CAL FIRE here. And they show Kaya and her husband. Everybody's clapping. Who risked their lives and limbs, she looks at the guy with the leg, to save our little town. She goes, still, I know some of you are considering leaving Virgin River. And they show Cameron and Ava. And I understand the task of rebuilding is daunting. Mel and Jack look pretty sad. But if we work together, we will rise from the ashes stronger for it, like many of us have done before. That's the power of Virgin River. To begin again, as she's crying. She goes, not in spite of what we lost, but because of it. Mel and Jack hug each other. So today, after we mourn our losses, let's focus on what we have. And she smiles at Doc, each other. So Brady sees Jack, and he walks up to him, and he goes, hey, preacher told me. I'm sorry, man. He goes, yeah, thanks. He goes, listen, there's actually something I wanted to talk to you about. And he tells Brady, he goes, we're about to break ground on construction of the glamping site. And I heard about Emerald Lumber. Because remember, it got destroyed. He goes, so I was thinking maybe you and your guys, if you're looking for work, you could head up the team. You could run the project and we could get you started ASAP. And Brady's like, yeah, absolutely. Thanks. He goes, all right. Okay. He goes, we'll see how it goes. And he's like, yeah. Little does Jack know that's exactly what Melissa Montgomery would have wanted Brady to do. And he just handed it to her. But the only way to catch her is to do this. So he has to, as much as he would love to do it and keep the work local and help the guys that worked at Emerald Lumber, because they were just working. They weren't part of the drug business or anything else. They're just workers. You know, even though it was a side business that was sort of like a cover for the drugs, the men were still there just working hard.
Yep.
So now we're at the bakery truck, and Kai is there, and she sees Preacher. And he walks up and he's like, so, how is your ex? And she's like, making peace with our divorce. I started the process. He goes, yeah? She goes, I owed it to myself. He goes, look, I understand that my situation with Jay is complicated, as is my job. But is there any way you can just forgive me so we can give this a real shot? And he's like, well, you know, complicated is my specialty. She smiles. He goes, and I would like to apologize for the way I reacted.
Yes. That man needs a nice relationship.
I know.
You know, he's been through hell and back with these women. And it's just like, he just needs to find his own little piece of happiness.
Right? And he's like, we're just getting to know each other. And I can't expect you to offer up all your secrets all at once. She's like, well, I mean, you know one of mine. It's only fair I know one of yours. So you better make it a good one. He's like, well, she's like, yes. He grabs her hands. I'm crazy about you. She goes, oh, that is pretty darn good, but not really a secret. And they give a little kiss. So maybe they work it out. She's like, I'm going to get us some coffee. So he's standing there watching her, and Jay on crutches. He walks up and he's laughing. He's like chuckling at Preacher because you know he saw this whole exchange.
Oh, yeah.
He watched it from afar.
He's going to have something to say about it.
And he's like, oh, man. He's like, you must be Preacher. And he goes, you must be Jay. And he goes, nice to put a shockingly handsome face to the guy who's dating my wife. Wow. Wow. Ballsy, isn't he?
Tell me about it.
And Preacher's like, listen, you know, I'm sorry, man. I get it. Seeing her with anyone else, it must be difficult for you. And he's like, yeah, it is. He's like, but I know her. I know she'll always choose her job over you, and I'll always be part of her job. And he goes, that must be difficult for you. As he turns around and uses his crutches to walk away. And Preacher's just like looking at him like, you jerk. So now Ava finds Mel, and they're hugging, like, hey, how are you? And she goes, hey, it's okay. I'm okay. Because Ava's like upset. She's like, I'm just a sucker for a good speech. So she thinks that she's pretending like she's crying because of what Hope said. And she's like, yeah. She goes, was it good enough to get you to stay? Because they're starting to become friends. And remember, there is so few people Mel's age. I mean, there's Bree now that Bree lives there. But, I mean, and she's not friends with Charmaine. Kaya,
oh, hell no.
And Kaya doesn't necessarily live in Virgin River yet because she's from the fire. You know, she's a firefighter. So I think she's out of town right now. But she's just come to the area recently. But I don't think she lives there. There isn't anybody else her age. Everybody else is either too young or too old. So, I mean, having another female in the area would be nice. They kind of need girls, you know, girls' night and stuff. So, So she's hoping that maybe she'll stay. And Ava's like, finding the right person to buy the farm is important. She goes, I guess I can stick around until I do. And Mel's like, good. She goes, I mean, I never asked you what you have to get back to Portland for anyway. And she's like, just a failing music career and an ex-girlfriend who stole my cat. And she's like, oh, nice. So there's really no rush. She goes, no, not really. She goes, okay, that's good. She goes, I'm going to go grab some food and I'll see you soon and we'll talk more. That's funny. So it's been good for Mel to come. I think she's glad that she decided to come because she'd just be home being sad. So Jack comes up behind her and he's like, hey there. And she's like, hey. And he grabs her from behind and he's hugging her. And he's like, how are you? She goes, I'm good. He goes, yeah? She goes, yeah. She goes, I'm glad we came. He's like, good. He goes, yeah, me too. She goes, you know, sometimes I forget how special this town is. He's like, really? She goes, yeah, everybody's so supportive. He goes, yeah, it certainly makes the thought of trying again a little less scary. And that look on Mel's face, because remember, 6 months ago, Jack having a baby was like not even on his radar. And then he finds out Charmaine's pregnant with twins. So he's got to wrap his head around being a part-time father, sharing custody of twins with a woman he no longer dates and never was really involved with. Then he finds out his girlfriend is pregnant with possibly her dead husband's baby or his baby. We didn't know. Then finds out it's his baby. Then he loses the twins because they're not his. Then so this man went from I have no children to I have 3 children to now I have no children again. But it woke that up in him.
Yeah.
And now it's like becoming a father is like, it's like he didn't know he wanted something until it was taken away. And so in his mind, okay, well, if this didn't work, then we'll just try again. We can make this happen because he knows how much she wants a baby. And if he didn't want that before, he certainly changed his mind about it now.
Yeah.
And so now he's on board, but the look on her face sounds like she's not on board. She looked at him like, yeah, like he's ready. He's like, yeah, you just tell me when you're ready. We'll try again. And she's like, yeah,
we're going to need to discuss that. Thank you.
Yeah, he doesn't know it yet, but they're going to need to have a long talk about that. So Bree shows up and Mike is there and Bree's like, hey. And he's like, hey. She's like, how's it going? She's like, all right. He goes, so. She goes, I was thinking, since we're friends now, how do you feel about doing something friendly this week? Now, while Mike and Bree are chatting as friends, Brady is watching them chat as friends. And the little green monster of jealousy is banging on his head right now. And Mike says to Bree, what do you got in mind? She goes, depends. Maybe, I don't know. I was thinking maybe a baseball game. He's like, order some wings and I'm in. And he goes, important question, ranch or blue cheese? And Brady walks up to the two of them and he's like, hey, Mike. He goes, Bree, hey. He goes, I see you found someone to talk to. Because remember, he asked her, if you're not going to talk to me, talk to someone. He did not think it was going to be Mike. And if he's trying to get her back, he's not doing it the right way. Because she's like, are you being serious right now? And he's like, yeah, I am.
Oh, Lord.
He goes, I mean, it makes sense, right? Mike's a good cop, dependable, honest. And he's like, Brady. He goes, it's all good. Bree and I are just friends. He goes, okay. So what do you think? I'm an idiot? He goes, Brady, this is not the time or the place. Mike and I are friends. You know this. He was there for me during a difficult moment, which I appreciate. He goes, hold up. What do you mean he was there for you? He goes, okay, hey, calm down. He goes, I happened to be in Sacramento. And he's like, he was at the trial. And then he grabs Mike by his shirt and starts throttling him. And Bree's like, Brady, cut it out. Brady, stop. Mike's like, Brady, calm down. And Brady's like, he stops. And he just is like, takes a deep breath. And he looks at Bree. And Bree's looking at him like, you've lost your mind.
Pretty much, yes.
Oh my gosh. And she's like, it's over. And he's like, what? He goes, officially, okay? We are done. He's like, Bree, come on. He goes, I was just trying to. And she doesn't want to hear it. She puts her hand up like, no more. I'm done. She's like, now just walk away, please. And he starts walking backwards. And she looks so sad. And that's it. They're done.
Mhm.
And it's over.
Yeah, unfortunately, Brady's temper tends to get the best of him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And it gets him landed in these positions where there's no turning back.
Yeah, his temper probably has
it's-
gotten him in more trouble than anything else.
Oh,
But,
please.
he's impulsive too. So, I mean, that's a
Yeah.
really bad combination.
Yeah.
Being impulsive and having a bad temper. And the thing is, I'm sure he had no idea that Mike and Bree got close. That
Nope.
she was the one that she confided in Mike, like of all people.
Mhm.
Like literally any other person on the planet would have been better than Mike, and that's who she confided in. That's who she's been talking to. And Mike isn't trying to get with her. Like he's literally legit being her friend. Now, it'll eventually develop into something because it's Virgin River and that's what happens. But, right now they're just friends. She needs a shoulder and he's there. And he's a good guy that she knows she can rely on. Yeah. That's really all she wants.
The thing is, Mike has been trying for a while to get close to her, and he realizes that she was into Brady, so he backed up. Yep. He backed down. Yep.
He let her come to him, and guess what?
Right.
It seems like it's working.
Yeah, because Brady is his own worst enemy.
Yep. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see Brady watch the two of them together, and oof. Mm-hmm. I mean, granted, her and Brady have some freaking wonderful chemistry, but let's see the chemistry between her and Mike. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's going to be and it's not a bad problem to have two hot guys after you. I mean, it's I mean, there are worse things in life.
Tell me about it.
Right? Mm-hmm. And they're both adorable, so
they're both gorgeous.
And that's what the actress said. That's what she said. She goes, it's not a bad problem to have, but.
And I should add that if somehow in season 7 he starts to speak Italian, I am done for.
Oh yeah, okay? he may. I don't know. That would be cool if he just starts saying something in Italian to her. I mean, it would be cool if they stick that in there somewhere. Like it's nice when they take their natural talents and incorporate them in the show. But we should suggest that. There should be like a suggestion box. Like, can we have Mike just like they're at an Italian restaurant and like he speaks to the waiter in Italian? Like that would be very easy. Yeah. It's like, how do you know how to do that? I don't know.
If they come to San Francisco because they have great Italian restaurants here.
Right.
And
right.
You start speaking Italian. Oh, God.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome if they find a way to do that.
It's one of my favorite languages, I have to say. French.
No, I don't like. I love Italian.
I just love their passion and and they remind me a little bit of island people because they talk with their hands.
Yes. Oh, yes, they do. They do so much. But yeah.
And we in the Caribbean.
And the food. Oh, the food is so good.
Let's not get food. Okay?
I swear, if I could ever get to go somewhere in Europe, Italy is like my first choice.
Okay, we need to plan that. So we got to go to Italy.
So we will do that. We will do that. I want to go to Italy so bad. Someday.
Yes.
Someday.
Anyway, yes.
All right. Well, it starts looking up from this episode forward. I think we're over the hump of the hard part. There's still some tough moments, but I think we're working our way through it, and there's still going to be some moments where she's having a tough time. This is still hard, and her and Jack have to have a conversation because I don't think they want the same things at the moment, but they don't know that yet, and they're going to have to talk about it, and that's a rough conversation. So it's like he finally is where you wanted him to be, and now you're not there anymore. It's like, ooh, how do you deal with that? So so the rest of the season, it's not as sad and it's not as dark. There's a couple rough spots, but we're gonna get through it. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah. All right. So until the next episode, have a great
Au
day,
revoir.
Gigi, and thank you everyone
Yeah.
for listening. We enjoy
Appreciate you.
doing this. This is fun for us, and we've had over 6,000 downloads. When we first started this, I was like, if 100 people listen, I'd be happy, and we've passed 6,000, which is freaking amazing. I mean, it's crazy that people are and from all over the world, which is also crazy. But we're just gonna keep going until we get to the end, and then I don't know what we'll do. We'll think of something. We still have season 6. They're filming season 7, and we'll let that percolate for a month or two, and then we'll do season 7. And yeah, we'll just keep going because we're just still having a good time. So,
Yeah, we
all
are.
right, all right. Well, thank you, Gigi, and we will do this again soon. All right,
Okay.
bye bye.